Kimball and Lilla, thank you so much for joining me for a few minutes to talk about Hippo. What
Of
a
course.
wild ride. I did not expect. I had no idea what I was
Yeah,
getting into.
yeah, it's a crazy one to put it simply.
So, Kimball, let's start with you since you're also a co-writer on Hippo. Tell us a little bit about the film. You know what? Let's do a little differently because honestly, the film has such different perspectives. Let's hear it from Hippo's perspective first, and then we'll go over to Lilla and hear it from Buttercup's perspective.
I love that. Well, I think Hippo's perspective on everything is just that the world is about to end and he has to get more and more powerful. And I think in his brain the enemies are coming from the outside world, but they're also slowly coming from the inside world, and he doesn't have much. I don't know. He can't trust anything, and so it's like I think I think he's living in a constant state of like a major war is about to happen, and it's going to happen in my own backyard. Um, yeah, I think that's just kind of how he lives his life. What about Buttercup?
I think Buttercup have a bit easier opinion of her perspective is a bit easier. Like I think she's like a really a teenager girl who like wanna experience sexuality, for example, wanna have just a normal family life, wanna date. Uh, yeah, after that she's also having more crazy ideas, but I think the most important thing for her, I think, is the family. That's why she really wants to have a child, or uh, or yes, what she cannot had in her life. So I think for her the most important thing to have a family and safetyness, and yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of the extreme versions of what happens when a kid goes to a teenager and doesn't necessarily have the right support or the right um guidance. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. So, because having a family is completely normal. Wanting to be a protector, also completely normal. But there's no guide there to tell you what to do. You mean poor Ethel's not really doing a great job. Is that kind of maybe the thought process besides some of the themes of the film?
Yeah, like generational trauma. I think like that's like a big theme. I think without even thinking, I think we just I think there's something about, and maybe it's because we made it also at like the height of COVID and everyone was feeling, isolated, usually with their own families. And so you're going a little bit more crazy. It's not at all a COVID movie, but it's like, um, there's, there's something about, yeah, the parts of your family that you can't escape. And I think Ethel is like trying and she really loves her kids, but she clearly there's something not right with her. Like she'll look out the window and maybe see something like a UFO, and and so it's like they're under the guidance of someone who means well, but she herself is not well. And so you can see how the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and how it then affects the kids and affects their decisions.
Yeah, and the thing I really enjoyed about it that kind of made it like a strange fairy tale kind of thing is you guys had a great narrator. So my question, Lila, for you is how was that for you in particular? Because you had a lot more moments where what you were doing, what your thought process was being told by somebody else. How was that for you as an actress on set, having to emote those things and a lot more showing and not telling?
How long showing and not telling? Sorry, what was the last?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
sorry.
how was it for you having to do a lot more acting rather than telling because you had a narrator telling what was going on?
Um, I think that was like it doesn't make any differences. I think in thinking or like being in the present as an actor and being in the scene really. it doesn't make a big difference that you have a line or not, because it's also really important, and it's also like showing a lot when you are don't when you are not talking also. So it wasn't make me a big difference, and I had very good partners and a very good director, so it wasn't a very weird thing, or yeah.
Yeah, and also I want to talk about both of your guys' chemistry, just because you guys are such opposites in the film, and obviously you guys aren't related, but you guys are still living in the same household as step siblings. Tell me how was that for you guys on set?
It
We
was a
live together, really.
what's that?
We live together, really.
Yeah, we really did. Yeah, like because it was such a small like cast and crew and a small budget, and so you end up like kind of being housed at the same places, and you're like moving around a lot, and sometimes you're like staying at Mark's mom's house, and it was a real fun family experience, and so we really got to know each other, and it she really became a sister to me, where it was like we just would have such like I don't know, rich discussions about life. And then I have said this before, but like so since she's from Hungary, from Europe, I her phone was not set up for American I don't know, satellites or whatever you would call it. And so I would give her my hotspot on my phone so she could have like internet. And so I made the password Lilla123, and it's still to this day Lilla123 if anyone wants to use my hotspot. But so it was really like a family experience, and we just got so close. And I think like it just the film would not have worked without Lilla. It would not like it just couldn't. It would not have worked. It could be called Buttercup, you know.
You know, and that's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I was asking for each of your perspective, because yes, the film's called Hippo, but I feel like this can easily also just have been called Buttercup with the way that that the film develops. Of course, we're not going to give away anything because I want people to enjoy it the way I did. Um, how do you feel about that, Lilla? The fact that yes, the film's called Hippo, but you play such a prominent role that one can argue this is your movie just as well.
Um, I don't have feelings like that. Like really, for me, this movie was Hippo from the first moment, and it doesn't came to my mind that this should be some another title. And also, I think, yeah, me and Eliza are also protagonists in the movie, but I think the story is more like in is somehow concentrating to Hippo, but we have like this also this to another important line in the movie, but somehow it's I think more I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I think it's like good to fuck, sorry, I'm a bit tired. It's like whatever that was the
But
title from the
it
beginning.
could be called
And
Buttercup.
never came. Yeah, it's never came to my mind as Buttercup or something else.
It's a real testament to the work you guys did together to be able to make such a cohesive film. With that said, also, I mean, it's in black and white. It's very well stylized with the music and then with the narration. For both of you, what was it like to see the finished product? Because I think it, you know, besides your great roles in the film, also the editing and all the kind of the putting the lipsticks on the pig, as they call it, plays a big role in really the final product that really sells it, you know, the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, do you want to go first? I think like it's interesting because I'm a big sucker for black and white films. Like my favorite movies are from like the 1930s through 50s, like anything with like Montgomery Clift or you know Alfred Hitchcock, whatever. I do love black and white movies, and so it was not one like we shot it for black and white, where like if you changed it to color, it would look weird, but so it was like, and I think just like the black and white added this layer of like, it's a funny movie. It's really funny, but it makes you take everything so much more seriously. And because you're like, okay, is this like some kind of rich drama I'm watching? But everything they're saying is so absurd. And so I think it was really interesting to see all that come alive, and like with the music, the score, we had like great people on like every end, and it's just like it really did unfold, like you said, like a fairy tale. And I think like we couldn't I think like in color it probably wouldn't have. I think the black and white helped it kind of become this fairy tale. And then with the music, it's very whimsical, but you're dealing with these dark subject matters. And so I think I think it couldn't have been any other way, but I loved how it turned out.
Yeah,
Yeah, for me,
go ahead.
the same. For me, same.
Yeah, it kind of gives it this timeless aspect too, because yeah, you know, you have a kind of a time period where it's set in, but you can also argue because of we're in this house, like you're not really 100% sure what time period it is until maybe you see one of the cars outside. But yeah, I mean, just overall, I loved it. I like I said in the beginning, I wasn't really sure what I was getting into, but through the film, through the story, through getting to meet both Hippo and Buttercup, I was sucked more and more into it to the point where I felt like I was right there with you guys. So yeah, thank you for the film. Thank you for the time also to chat with you guys today. I appreciate it so much.
Thank
And
you.
I'm gonna say this.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Thank
say
you
this.
for your kind words.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this real quickly. I will never look at a Super Soaker the same way again, and I will leave it at that.
That's the best tagline for this film. That should be the headline right there.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, though. Thank you. That really that means a lot. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and thank you for your time today.
I appreciate it. You know, anytime I could talk to
Thank
actors,
you.
it's a good time. So have a great weekend, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
You too. Talk to you soon.